Marqos, Mark, chapter 8. In those days, the crowd being very great and having naught to eat, Yahusha called his Talmidim near and said to them, I have compassion on the crowd, for they have now been with me 3 days and have naught to eat. And if I dismiss them unfed to their home, they shall faint on the way, for some of them have come from afar. And his Talmidim answered him, How shall anyone be able to feed these people with bread here in the desert? And he asked them, How many loaves do you have? And they said, 7. And he commanded the crowd to sit down on the ground, and taking the 7 loaves, giving thanks, he broke them and gave them to his Talmidim to put before them. And they put them before the crowd. And they had a few small fish, and having borach, he said to put them also before them. And they ate and were satisfied, and they picked up 7 large baskets of broken pieces. And those eating were about 4,000, and he dismissed them. And immediately entering into the boat with his Talmidim, he came to the parts of Dalmanutha. And the Pharisees came out and began to dispute with him, seeking from him a sign from the Shemaim, trying him. And sighing deeply in his spirit, he said, Why does this generation seek a sign? Truly, I say to you, no sign shall be given to this generation. And leaving them, again entering into the boat, he went away to the other side. And they had forgotten to take bread, and they did not have more than 1 loaf with them in the boat. And he was warning them, saying, Mind, beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and of the leaven of Herodes. And they were reasoning with one another, saying, Because we have no bread. And Yahusha, being aware of it, said to them, Why do you reason because you have no bread? Do you not yet perceive nor understand? Is your heart still hardened? Having eyes, do you not see? And having ears, do you not hear? And do you not remember? When I broke the 5 loaves for the 5,000, how many baskets filled with broken pieces did you pick up? They said to him, 12. And when I broke the 7 for the 4,000, how many large baskets filled with broken pieces did you pick up? And they said, 7. And he said to them, How do you not understand? And he came to Bethsaida, and they brought a blind man to him, and begged him to touch him. And taking the blind man by the hand, he led him out of the village. And having spit on his eyes, laying hands on him, he asked him, Do you see at all? And he looked up and said, I see men like trees walking. Then he placed his hands on his eyes again and made him look up. And he was restored and saw clearly. And he sent him away to his home, saying, Do not go into the village. And Yahusha and his Talmidim went out to the villages of Caesarea Philippos. And on the way he asked his Talmidim, saying to them, Who do men say I am? And they said to him, Yochanan the Immerser, and others Eliyahu, but others one of the Navim. And he asked them, And you, who do you say I am? And Kepha answering said to him, You are Hamashiach. And he warned them that they should speak to no one about him. And he began to teach them that the bane of Adon has to suffer much and be rejected by the elders and chief Kohanim and scribes and be killed, and after 3 days to rise again. And he was speaking about this openly. Then Kepha, taking him aside, began to rebuke him. And turning around and seeing his Talmidim, he rebuked Kepha, saying, Get behind me, Satan, for your thoughts are not those of Elohim, but those of men. And calling near the crowd with his Talmidim, he said to them, Whoever desires to come after me, let him deny himself and take up his stake and follow me. For whoever desires to save his life shall lose it, but whoever loses his life for the sake of me and the good news, he shall save it. For what shall it profit a man if he gains all the world and loses his own high? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his life? For whoever is ashamed of me and my words in this adulterous and sinning generation, Of him the bane of Adon also shall be ashamed when he comes in the esteem of his Father with the Kodesh messengers. Marqos, Mark chapter 9. And he said to them, Truly, I say to you that there are some standing here who shall not taste of death at all until they see the reign of Elohim having come in power. And after 6 days Yahushua took Kepha and Yaakov and Yochanan and led them up on a high mountain alone by themselves, and he was transformed before them, and his garments became glittering, exceedingly white like snow, such as no launderer on earth is able to whiten. And there appeared to them Eliyahu with Moshe, and they were talking with Yahushua. And Kepha responding said to Yahushua, Rabbi, it is good for us to be here, and let us make 3 booths, one for you, and one for Moshe, and one for Eliyahu. Because he did not know what to say, for they were exceedingly afraid. And there came a cloud overshadowing them, and a voice came out of the cloud, saying, This is my bane, the beloved, hear him. And suddenly, looking around, they no longer saw anyone with them, but only Yahushua. And as they were coming down from the mountain, he ordered them not to relate to anyone what they saw, till the bane of Adon had risen from the dead. And they kept this matter to themselves, debating what the rising from the dead meant. And they asked him, saying, Why do the scribes say that Eliyahu has to come first? And he said to them, Eliyahu indeed, having come first, restores all. And how has it been written concerning the bane of Adon, that he is to suffer much and be despised? But I say to you that even Eliyahu has come, and they did to him whatever they wanted, as it has been written of him. And coming to the Talmudim, he saw a large crowd around them, and scribes disputing with them. And immediately when all the crowd saw him, they were greatly alarmed, and running near greeted him. And he asked the scribes, What are you disputing with them? And one of the crowd answering said, Teacher, I brought you my son who has a dumb spirit, and wherever he seizes him, he throws him down, and he froths and gnashes his teeth, and he wastes away. And I spoke to your Talmudim that they should cast him out, but they were not able. And he answered him and said, O unbelieving generation, how long shall I be with you? How long shall I put up with you? Bring him to me. So they brought him to him, and when he saw him, immediately the spirit threw him into convulsions, and falling on the ground, he rolled about, frothing. And he asked his father, How long has he been like this? And he said, From childhood, and often he has thrown him both into the fire and into the water to destroy him. But if it is at all possible for you, have compassion on us and help us. And Yahusha said to him, If you are able to believe, all is possible to him who believes. And immediately the father of the child cried out and said with tears, I believe, Adonai, help my unbelief. And when Yahusha saw that a crowd came running together, he rebuked the unclean spirit, saying to him, You deaf and dumb spirit, I order you, come out of him, and never again enter into him. And crying out and convulsing him much, it came out of him, and he became as one dead, so that many said that he was dead. But Yahshua, taking him by the hand, lifted him up, and he arose. And when he came into a house, his Talmudim asked him separately, Why were we unable to cast him out? And he said to them, It is impossible for this kind to come out except through prayer and fasting. And going from there, they passed over through Galilee, and he did not want anyone to know, for he was teaching his Talmudim, and said to them, The bane of Adon is being delivered into the hands of men, and they shall kill him, and having been killed, he shall rise the 3rd day. But they did not understand the word, and they were afraid to ask him. And they came to Capharnaum, and having come in the house, he asked them, What was it you disputed among yourselves on the way? And they were silent, for on the way they had disputed with one another who was the greatest. And sitting down, he called the 12 and said to them, If anyone wants to be first, he shall be last of all and servant of all. And he took a little child and put him in their midst, and taking him in his arms, he said to them, Whoever receives one of such little children in my name receives me, and whoever receives me receives not me, but the one who sent me." And Yochanan said to him, "Teacher, we saw someone who does not follow us casting out demons in your name, and we forbade him because he does not follow us." And Yahushua said, "Do not forbid him, for no one who works a miracle in my name is able to readily speak evil of me. For he who is not against us is for us. For whoever gives you a cup of water to drink in my name, because you are of Mashiach, truly I say to you, he shall by no means lose his reward. And whoever causes one of these little ones who believe in me to stumble, it is better for him if a millstone were hung around his neck and he were thrown into the sea. And if your hand makes you stumble, cut it off. It is better for you to enter into life crippled than having 2 hands to go into Gehinnom, into the unquenchable fire, where their worm does not die and the fire is not quenched. And if your foot makes you stumble, cut it off. It is better for you to enter into life crippled than having 2 feet to be thrown into Gehinnom, into the unquenchable fire, where their worm does not die and the fire is not quenched. And if your eye makes you stumble, pluck it out. It is better for you to enter into the reign of Elohim with 1 eye than having 2 eyes to be thrown into the fire of Gehinnom, where their worm does not die and the fire is not quenched. For everyone shall be seasoned with fire, and every offering shall be seasoned with salt. Salt is good, but if the salt becomes tasteless, how shall you season it? Have salt in yourselves, and be at peace among one another.